The Weatherman. Some words on a movie with Nicolas Cage and Michael Caine. Michael Caine is a giant, a legend, and will always be. Nicolas Cage is not exactly a has-been, but unfortunately, from the very top, leaving Las Vegas, Academy Award winner, highest esteem, he fell because of, I understand, from serious financial trouble. Proving the notion that you can have a lot of money but then still not be happy because you spend more, buy more, and then eventually he didn't have enough to pay huge debts for, I don't know, huge mansions and whatnot. And then he went on downhill to make lamentable movies. And I understand he is not the most likable person anyway. He made quite a few films around here in this country, and talking with some who had the chance to work with or know people who work with him, the impression was negative. Let's leave it at that. Notwithstanding this decline, Weatherman is made just when things were still somewhat rosy, perhaps, and the decline had not started yet. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is an amusing, pleasant comedy. Of course, Michael Caine has a wonderful contribution. Incidentally, he mentioned at one point how he selects scripts, joking about it. Something like, if I'm there, he's looking at the last page, and if I'm there at the last page, I'll take it. And then he has this anecdote with John Wayne, who told him not to wear sweat shoes because he will meet fans at the lavatory, at the toilet, and they will turn around eventually while pissing to, oh, so you're that fellow actor, and so that doesn't work with sweat shoes if this happens. And of course, there's much more. He seems to be a wonderful man, aside from being a great actor, which alas is not what happens for most of the time. I mean, you have some very good actors, but when you look at what they do in private, sometimes your hair stands on and things like that. It's not nice. Think John Boyd, a Trump supporter. So, what more can you say about that? Weatherman. One of the principles of influence, a classic, quintessential work of psychology by glorious Robert Cialdini comes to mind. He gives the example of those who present the weather forecast on television, radio, and other places, who are loathed by many because they bring bad news, or well, what they said doesn't prove accurate, which is what happens quite a few times in the movie with character of Nicolas Cage, who's presenting the weather in Chicago. He has a chance to move on to New York. So he gets abused verbally quite often. And a few times, many times he says, for many times this had happened, but we see it a few times in the comedy. They throw things at him, a big gulp, an apple pie, an ice cream at another moment. Because indeed it seems to me this is a derivative of the consistency principle. That is, we associate the people who present the weather with the weather itself, the same way as they, with humans, but they, historical characters, did with messengers. There's the other fellow there, Puccini. So they killed those who brought bad news. Even if they just delivered, they were not responsible. They had emperors, kings who created the message. They were just bringing the news. Bringing bad news was fatal quite often. And then the opposite is also true and speculated in advertising, as we can see on television. Actors are presented or dressed as doctors, as experts, and then they make an ad. They speak about this medicine, this pill or another. Even if they're just playing the role. They have no knowledge in the field. They're not trained as doctors. But we associate the image. Very good-looking women were very frequent, they are used to sell, cars, creams, whatever, cosmetics. So that was one funny, interesting aspect in The Weatherman, which is otherwise a good comedy. As I said just before, you couldn't really watch a movie with Nicolas Cage. If he was in it, then you had to drop it.